This is David Goff, and we're back with another episode of Let's Talk. It is about having conversations with ordinary, everyday, extraordinary people. And today, I have Dr. Kat Smith, and she is a survivor and a human behavioral expert, a published author, and also a TEDx speaker and international presenter. And I also get a chance to call her my friend. Hi, Dr. Kat. It's been a while. Hadn't seen you in a minute.
I know, you've been away. I've been missing you.
Oh, you're going to blame it on me. Okay. I'll take that. So, like I say, I'm having conversations with friends of mine that, I have a lot of eclectic friends who do a lot of different things and who I think are really amazing at what they do and amazing as human beings. And I consider you one of those people. Want to talk today about what you do. And you have the title of being an entomologist. Can you tell me a little bit about what that entails?
Yeah, it's an entomology with an I, not an E, because entomologist is a bug specialist with an E.
Right.
I always use the thing is I can bug the hell out of people, but I know I'm an intimacy expert.
Gotcha.
That's calling myself an entomologist.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
So, we on this particular program talk about some of what the human condition is and how we can have some inspirational conversation, how we can drop a little knowledge or plant a few seeds. When you're looking at intimacy between people, what do you see as being one of the major issues? I know like right now, we've gone through COVID, we're going through all this economy and all that kind of thing. How do those type things affect something like intimacy between two people?
Okay, first I want to explain that intimacy and sex are not the same thing. And it just makes me so mad when people on the news or something are doing a report and they say, and they were intimate. No, they were having sex. So that's different than intimacy. Thus, my book, ABCs of Intimacy. Intimacy is so much deeper. It is the communication, it's respect, it's passion, it's affection, it's so many things. Yes, sex is part of intimacy, but you can be in an intimate proximity of someone, be in somebody's intimate space. You can have an intimate conversation with someone, but you're not being physical. Okay, so sex is the physical intimacy. Right. And so I want to get that clarified first. But there's a lot of things that can affect intimacy between two people. And the main one being trust. And attention is not always affection. So I want to say that. Or attention, doesn't mean affection. Because somebody can give you attention and not ever touch you or really give you the space to feel that you can open up yourself to them. Right. And not just in trusting, but just sharing with them some of your intimate concerns or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I always say that intimacy is something that is the foundation for which your house of love stands on. Okay. So anything that gets in the way of you having a house that can withstand the storms of life and relationships, then I'd say you have strong, intimate connection to them.
Right. So, I mean, you speak about intimacy and love. Is intimacy a major component in loving somebody?
Yes, because I think if you have a strong, intimate connection with someone, your bond of love is going to be even stronger. Mm-hmm. Because you can be in love with somebody, but it only be physical. Right. You can be in love with somebody and you can't have the physical sex because of health reasons or something, or they could be asexual, but you can love someone. But what I'm saying is when you have all of the other components, the affection, the trust, the respect, the caring, and the kindness, and the communication, all these other things that make up what intimacy is, then you have a solid love relationship. Right. And that could be romantic, and it could, be in, because we should have strong, intimate connections to other people in our lives. You don't, right. Again, you just take the sex part out of it, and you have all of those other components.
Right. So how important is intimacy to our health, say? I mean, how does that affect us if we don't have intimacy in our life?
Well, there's a lot of hormones in our bodies that are released when we are, like, the power of touch is amazing. So affection is key to having a close, intimate connection with someone. And, just to show you how much the power of touch, that babies, infants can die if they are not held, if they're not touched. And they've done this research, and that's very powerful. So human beings are meant to be around other people, right? And to be said. That's was really something that affected the individuals during COVID, because when they were alone in their apartments, there was no human interaction. That was very tough for a lot of people. But then on the other end, when you don't have that strong, intimate connection with someone, and you're in the house with them, right, stuck in the house with them, then that could cause some problems as well.
Yeah, I can see that it can cause some anxiety for some people.
Oh, so yeah.
it is very essential to us, or to our health, to have intimacy in our life. Having someone to talk to share with, in addition to the touching part, is what I'm hearing from you. Is that correct?
Yeah. And it's also, just to have someone to, it's sometimes when you just walk in the house and you see someone you love, or someone that that cares about you, you can release all of that stress. And they can also give you a kind word. It can be supportive in so many ways, and it can help you relieve the stress or take the tension out of a situation. So, having people in our lives and having deep, intimate connections with them is it's key to having a healthy, long life.
Right.
So it's really important. And just to understand that, like I said, intimacy and sex are not the same thing, then you look at the relationship differently, because you're saying, oh, well, if I have to have all these other things in there, and I don't want to scare anybody to say that, oh, intimacy is all this stuff, I don't know if I want to invest all that time. Well, but you're benefiting from it as well.
Right.
So if you have the book was written to be a kind of a guide for couples, and you take each day, you take one term and try and apply it and talk about it. So just if you took the word intimacy, what's your definition of intimacy? Because men look at intimacy different than how women look at intimacy. Men are more, they look in a more physical aspect, not so much just the sex, it's just a more physical aspect, and women are more emotional with intimacy. They want to be, they want to care, and they want to know how they can care better for you. So when they ask, how was your day? Or, when they're asking questions, or they're trying to get a conversation, they're trying to see how they can care for you better. And men are more physical, where, they'll come over and say, well, what's the matter? You said, oh, nothing. And they, even though they know something's wrong, they're like, okay. And then they, a lot of times.
You're getting into that male-female interaction thing.
Yeah.
That, is really tough to deal with. I know that for me as a man, you talk about the intimacy and the connection, stuff like that. Sometimes men, I guess you can say, feel like they go out all day and they slay dragons. And when they come home, they want somebody who understands and a place to rest, really, rest and recharge. And, sometimes that's wanting to be touched, and sometimes that's just giving me some space and some room to recoup.
And that is something that should be shared.
Right.
That should be something that should be understood. It's like, okay, when I come in the house, it's not that I'm not wanting to see you. I just need to decompress. It's like I've been on Mars. Okay. So now I'm coming back to Earth. Give me a moment to decompress. And then once I can shed all of that stuff, then I'm going, yeah, okay, now let's get to us. You know,
Right.
how was your day, baby? And whatever. You know, so and women should understand when their partner doesn't come straight home from work,
Mm-hmm.
they have to find a place to decompress, because when they come home and you have kids and there's all this other stuff, it's like they're just moving from one area of Mars to the other to another. So
Right. One battle to the next.
exactly. So the thing is that those are the things that should be communicated and made to be understood, to where the other person is not feeling like, oh, I don't want to spend time with you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, but again, the communication is key, you know.
Right.
So you build an intimate relationship by understanding. I always say that a relationship is a collaboration. It's not a compromise. People don't compromise in a relationship. You collaborate because you're in one relationship and you have goals
Right.
for that relationship. Okay. So you look at those goals and you agree that, okay, this is what's important in our relationship. So you look at those things, and then as you are both evolving, what activities, what behaviors, what things support those goals.
Right. So I
So when
for me, I think it's so many people who go into a relationship or who get married or whatever who don't have a goal. There's no goal in mind. I mean, we're just so in love that we're just going to get together and make some babies and live in a house.
but
But
there should be.
there should be. I agree with that. But I don't
But you
think
can
a lot of
understand.
people look at it they don't have a plan. They don't have, like you say, a goal that they're shooting for, something that they want to build. And I don't think that some people understand that that's an important part of a relationship.
It is very important, because it's just like anything. It's just like, where do you want to end up in life? If you, okay, so I have a perfect example, because we have friends that the wife loves to travel and the husband just don't want to go outside of Dallas.
Right.
To put it just to Dallas.
Uh-huh.
And they have an opportunity to go overseas for a wedding, and he just, he's dreading it. But he's never been out of the country. So he's like, why don't you just go and experience it and support? So, just knowing, first of all, who you married or who you're in a relationship with, and understanding them, and just really maybe talking to them and find out, why don't you want to travel? What is really at the core of that? This really trying to understand who they are and what challenges they are. Because I say that when you marry someone, you're marrying all of the religious beliefs, the traditions, societal, pressures and beliefs, just
mindset.
Yeah, mindset, their experiences.
Right.
So you're in all of that, and you need to help them understand you, and you need to understand them.
Right.
Because look at me, coming with a background of abuse. If I went into a relationship and didn't say that to explain that happened to my partner, right, that could cause all kind of problems. My ex-husband and I, every time we had sex, I would cry, and he thought he was hurting me, but I didn't tell him what had happened to me. Right. And so then when I finally explained it to him, and then I started going to therapy, then I was able to work on myself in order to have a rich, rewarding life. But I did the work. I did the work on me. And then that helped me to understand what I needed out of a partner or someone that I wanted to be in a relationship with. And so now it's like, whenever there's something with my husband now, anytime we have something, I always say, okay, I received that this way. Did you mean it that way? Or, what? And I also, things will come up and I'll just go, I got to tell you something about me. Because like when I'm on a plane, I have to sit by the window and grab a magazine and just like stick my face in it while people are boarding, because it's all the commotion. It it distracts me, and
Right.
I get a little upset, a little tensed up.
Right.
So he, he kind of shields me. He lets me sit by the window, and I just, and because you're constantly doing this, so you won't get hit in the head by the backpacks and the kids' feet and all
Right.
this. And it's just, people trying to put luggage above your head, and you're worried about it falling on you, which had happened before.
Right.
So I told him, I said, I just got to tell you this about me, because I don't want to jump up and have the, screaming, y'all sit down, and the marshals take me off the plane. So I just want to tell him. So those, I tried to let him know, look, these are some quirky things about me. Are these some things about me that maybe help you understand how I react in certain situations, or what I might say or not say?
Right.
It's like, it's the most important thing you can do in a relationship. And that is to try to get them to talk to you, and you talk to them, and share your needs, your concerns, your dreams, your desires, and your goals for your life, and what you think the relationship can be. Everybody can't be a what do they call the mogul couples, like the Beyonce and Jay-Z's.
Right.
They are a power couple for a reason. They have a lot of money, and they have a lot of luxuries in order to maintain a relationship. That's for us. If she's not, if they need a nanny, they can afford a nanny. If they need housekeepers, they can afford housekeepers. So a lot of the mundane tasks can be covered by other people. But when you look at other people's relationships, you got to know that they have struggles just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And the money makes it easier, if they know how to deal with it. And some people get money and they lose their minds, but
yeah. A lot of what you were saying, I was just thinking about, there was a book recently that Oprah co-wrote. Look at me, I can't even speak. There we go. Never said I was a scholar, but anyway, the book is called What Happened to You? And it's about taking a different perspective of looking at somebody and say, what's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Take the time to understand what some of their life experiences have been, what has gotten them to this place. And I think that aligns with what you're saying. And I believe that's very, very important to understand where somebody comes from, and for somebody to be willing to share some of that, especially if somebody they're going to have this intimacy with, to create this connection with. So right now in your practice of what you're doing, what is it that you see most of? What's more prevalent that you're seeing in people that are coming to see you or contacting you?
Well, I have only a few clients left, because I am shutting down my one-on-one services. I'm going more into speaking and reaching a wider audience.
Right.
But for the most part, it's really the communication of needs and desires, the sexual side of it. Somebody wants more than the other. Someone is not feeling that there's the intimacy.
Right.
It's just a physical act. And I always say affection is a daily interaction. I always say no drive-by kissing, just none of that stuff. Just really spend some time being affectionate. A lot of the time the women feel that only time he really sees me is when he wants sex. And I say, well, you should, every time you pass her, give her a little squeeze from behind, or, tap her on the butt, or, just, say, hey, I appreciate all the stuff you do for me. I love that dress on you today. You make the house look so great. Oh, that meal was fantastic. Just make her feel appreciated and cared for and loved for more than just sex. And then she will always feel that he sees me, he loves me, he cares about me.
Right.
So when the opportunity for intimate sex happens,
Mhm.
it's going to be that intimate sex. It's not going to be physical sex.
Right. I think just in all fairness, I have to speak up for the male gender too. So
Yes.
there are some women who are not receptive to a lot of affection.
Yes.
They didn't grow up seeing it in their house. So we go back to their life experience. And, if you get the mixed match between the male and the female, and they have different ideas about what intimacy looks like to them, how they accept somebody showing intimacy. Some people are just not romantics. You know what I'm saying? They don't appreciate. I mean, they don't appreciate the flowers and the candy and the this and coming behind and hugging them. They're like, get off me, and that type thing. And they're just not receptive. I mean, it goes both ways. I have to stand up for male gender in this conversation too. So I think you gave some really good advice, but I think it applies both ways.
True. And that could be, like you said, it could be anchored into them that touching leads to something else. Mm-hmm. So, and you ever notice, okay, when you get in an argument with someone and you're in a relationship with them, right, and they're mad at you and you go up to say, look, I'm sorry. Oh, don't touch me. You know that?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because touching is a closeness.
Right.
Touching is something that is going to interfere with that anger. You know what I'm saying? It's going to calm them down, and they want to be mad at that point because it's like, no, you did something that made me mad or hurt me or disappointed me or whatever. So there's this thing called repeat exposure. And I always say that when you're in a relationship with someone who is not affectionate and does not understand your need for affection, then there's this thing of repeat exposure. So they need to understand you have needs too, and they should be able to start to feel more comfortable with the touching. Now, the flowers and the candy, say, okay, well, if you don't want the flowers and the candy, what do you want? Well, what would be a better gift for you?
Right.
Okay. Right. And then save your money. If they don't want any of it, just save your money. Don't put extra stress on yourself. It's kind of like trying to be a friend to someone who don't want your friendship.
Right. Right.
So just change the way you think about that. And yeah, if you're someone who loves giving gifts, then just find out what is a better gift for them.
Right.
But as far as the affection, it's like, when you're sitting on the sofa watching a movie, just lean up against each other. Okay. Let's see how that is. Put your arm around.
Right.
And if it's only for a few minutes at a time, and then it gets to be longer, holding hands.
Right.
Excuse me. If you're in the kitchen cooking, just, go over and say, well, show me how you're cutting that up, because I want to learn. And then, put your hands on their hands and kind of just any kind of way you can touch them without them feeling like it's going in a different direction. But it's closeness, it's a constant touch. And once they feel comfortable with that, things go in a different direction. And you can always say, when I'm touching on you, I'm not, this is what affection is.
Right.
Affection is it's a physical way of me letting you know how much I love you. But I'm not saying, let's go jump in the sack. I'm not saying, girl, bend over. I'm just saying, I want to touch you. I love you. And it makes me feel good to let you know that I love you.
Right.
But people don't talk about things like this.
Right. One of the key things that you said about your own experience, being a survivor of abuse, and the fact that you did the work, that you did the work on you, not trying to work on somebody else, but you did the work on you, and you brought a whole you to the relationship. I think that a lot of people need to realize that that's where we start. That is the biggest job we have to do, is work on us, is work on ourselves, so that we can bring something good into a relationship, that we can bring something good into life, period. But because we need to raise our level of awareness so that we can really see what we're doing. I mean, I tell people all the time, if you listen to how people talk to themselves, the things they say about themselves, I tell them all the time, if I talk to you the way you talk to you, you'd be ready to fight.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to be conscious of the self-talk and understand, you know, look at that, where'd that come from?
Yes.
I call myself stupid. Where did that come from? You know, I'm not stupid. You know, it's so funny. So, but like I said, when you were saying that you did the work on you, that really connected with me, and I think that that's an important point that people need to take into account. You know, I know that you just got through telling us that you're closing down the one-on-one practice and going more into speaking, and you were a TEDx speaker. What was that like?
That was a great experience. I wanted to share my story of my abuse in a way that it didn't, you know, a lot of people, when you even touch on the topic of abuse, they're like, oh, here we go. You know, they just don't want to hear. A lot of people can't deal with it. It's like, even when you tell someone that you've been violated, a lot of people go, oh, you know, get over it. Everybody's been through that. Or, oh, just suck it up. Or girl, just forget about it. You know, go on with your life. And no, you need allies just like you need support in other areas. When you've been, I mean, I had a client, she was 68 years old. And at the age that her daughter, at the age she was abused, she started pulling away from her daughter, who was coming of that age. And the relationship was very strained, and she was trying to understand, why is my mom just, you know, all of a sudden we're just to have a terrible relationship. Right. And so I started, you know, and she's in Mexico. So I was explaining to her, look, you know, start asking you some questions and, you know, really saying, you know, I really love you. And I want, you know, us to have this wonderful relationship, especially with, you know, with the kids and everything, because you're such a wonderful mother. And, you know, what has changed? And her mother finally broke down and told her that she was raped as a young girl. So now they have a beautiful relationship, and every time I see them, the mama is just like hugging me, and it's just wonderful to see. But because that stuff, it lingers, it's so residual in our life, in our emotions, in our mental state, in our physical state. There's another book that recently came out, What My Bones Know, I think is the title of it. And it's this woman, she talks about how abuse changes us physically. So, and it's not just abuse, it could be the slavery and the oppression, and there's so much that our bodies deal with, and how we store that stuff in our bodies. And so, you know, I just tell people that it's so important to work on yourself. You deserve to be the healthiest person you can be. And, you know, now I just turned 61 in March. So I am still a work in progress, and I still want to work on myself, because I want, you know, not only to flourish, I want to evolve in a way that, you know, I can look back on my life and say, wow, I've accomplished a lot of things. You know, I feel very fortunate that I can help other people. And then, you know, I get to do the things that I really want to do. So it's just important to do the work on yourself.
Right. And I really appreciate, you know, what you're saying about, you know, you're turning 60 and letting people know that that's not the time to slow down.
No,
that's
not at all.
You know, and it's really time to kick in the afterburners and make this whatever's left a good experience. You like I say, just I kind of keep going back a little bit to you know, you telling your story and the fact that you're a speaker and everything now, and an author. And in what we're doing now and having this conversation, I want people to understand that their life experience makes them an expert on their life, if nothing else. And a lot of them have had experiences and things in life that happen that they should share. So
exactly.
Right. What would you tell somebody who has been sitting around saying, well, I want to write a book, or I want to learn to speak, and so on and so forth, but they're just sitting on all this gold mine of experience and life and what they could help share with people, but they're just not making any moves with it. What would you say?
Well, don't make excuses for yourself. I mean, there's so many things you can do to speak. You can, okay, this is a really simple one. You know, if at church they want somebody to do the announcements, go start doing the announcements. Okay. If there's a Bible study class, then you know, get up there and start teaching Bible study.
Right.
You know, do some presentations, do some PowerPoints, and kind of, you know, walk yourself through. These are some things that I can do because you know, if you're going to church, that's a platform right there. Okay. You can go and start volunteering at different organizations that, you know, where you can do stuff to help, you know, present and speak, right. or there's a lot of groups, like here in Dallas, we've got several writing groups where you can join for maybe $30 a year or something like that. And you can be a part of a group that'll help you go through the process of writing a book. Right. There's so many things that you can do. Use your resources and just, you know, think out of the box. Now, I'll give you an example. This past 2 weeks, I have been going through it with technology. Okay. Right. I was with a hosting service who I totally thought sucked, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to get sued. Right. But they totally sucked. And I kept them for two contracts. And so I said, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to another one. Now, I did my research online, found another one. Then their service, their email did not even work. I mean, just, right. I couldn't get it to work. So I was like, okay, I want a refund. I'm leaving y'all. And I went to the final one. And they were using a service that their email did not like Apple Mail. Right. So the server settings and everything, I could not get my email. And even we experienced that because you were trying to send me the Zoom link.
Went back and forth a little bit already.
So something told me while I'm on the phone with Apple, you know, they're trying to help me do these settings. And I said, well, do you guys have a service? And they said, yeah, you can create. And I'm like, hallelujah, you know, because I just thought of it. And I was like, you know, Apple, I have all Apple products. And so I was like, I've not had a problem with their email. So let me just switch all of my email from my website and everything on over to this. And so, you know, it was out of the box thinking, you know, you think about, okay, yeah, Apple is phones and, you know, electronics, but you wouldn't think about the email part of it and having a service. So yeah, I thought out of the box. It's the same thing with, you know, if you want to accomplish something, you know, I wanted to
figure it out.
Yeah, I wanted to learn photography. I bought a camera. Right. Okay. Yeah. You know, it's like, yeah, your phone, yes, it has a great camera in it, but you know, if you want to learn photography, get on YouTube, watch some videos. I mean, there's so many ways to just really take the first step. Quit making excuses for yourself and take the first step.
And the thing about it is, if you are a person who has a burning desire to do something and you're not around other people who have that same mindset, you need to get out and find your tribe.
Yes.
If they're not supportive of you, if they're not interested in what you're interested in, you're around the wrong people. I'm not saying just completely let people go, but you need to find your tribe. You need to find a group of people that support you, that you feel fulfilled around.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's funny because, and you will find in the seasons of your life, right, that those people are going to change.
They're going to change.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they are definitely going to change.
I took it upon myself because I hadn't seen some women that I thought I was part of their tribe. I'm gonna say it that way. And so one was about to have a birthday, and I texted a whole bunch of them or emailed, and I said, "Hey, it's been too long. Let us get together." And out of maybe 20 women, 2 people responded back. So I was like, oh, okay, well, everybody must be busy. So I'm going to let this go and we'll try this again some other time.
Right.
Then I'm on social media and I see they're getting together having a party.
And you didn't get invited.
I didn't get invited. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm not in the tribe.
There you go.
That's what it is. And I said, okay, well, hey, at least I know now, you know, and then I won't be trying, you know, to insert myself where I'm not wanted. Right. And so then I find a tribe where, yeah. And, you know, I have a friend, she's a younger woman and she's a go-getter. She's out there doing her thing and business owner, making things happen. And we ran across, you know, met each other at a restaurant and hit it off. And we get together and we're like dining at Monarch, you know, which is a fancy restaurant here in Dallas, you know, and we're having a good old time because you know, what that experience made space for me to bring somebody else in my life that's quality. And we have a great time and a great friendship now. And so, you know, hey, reason and a season. So yeah, your tribe is very important. And as you evolve, you become a different person. It's like use that same onion, but as you're peeling all of those layers back, you are changing. So allow that process.
If you don't change, there's something wrong. You need to evaluate that too. If you're the same person today that you were 10 years ago, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of look at that. So, Dr. Cat, I really appreciate you taking a moment to talk to me. It's always good to talk to you. Like I said, it's been way too long since I've seen you.
I know. We'll take care of that. We'll remedy that.
Are you trying to make space? Are you getting rid of me to make space? Is that what it is? Okay. Like I say, thanks again. You're one of the amazing people that I know. And I'm glad that we did this. And I hope we get a chance to do it again.
Yes, anytime for you. You're an amazing person yourself, you know. So we're right there together.
Thanks for saying that. I really appreciate it. So with that, we're going to call it a show. Yes. And we look forward to seeing you again. Have a great evening. Thanks.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.